Welcome to the Cell Guru Show, and I've got it. Yes, the new Samsung Fold 2 is with us, and we're going to do some very interesting things with it. You know, this is the Samsung Fold 1, or the original Samsung. Now, I've been a great fan of this phone for a very, very long time, till I got this one. This one is a whole different ball game. Literally every weakness of the Samsung Fold 1 has been taken care of in the Fold 2. So we'll talk about the differences, we'll talk about everything that they've done, we'll review this phone. And then we'll move on to our Qualcomm segment, and we'll talk about one of the most interesting things that we all do. We've become a nation of gamers. But how does that experience change? Can you imagine 10 years back what gaming was, and today what gaming is? Today I think we have better gaming on our phones than maybe even PCs and consoles. Well, bit of an exaggeration, but I feel that it's actually jumped that much. So we'll talk about that and how a company like Qualcomm has actually made sure that gaming experience on our phone has moved to a whole different level. And then I've got you this, the Moto E7. Under 10,000 rupees, another E series from Motorola. Great camera on this phone, very good battery life, nice looking phone, and a pretty interesting price. Of course, before we get started with the rest of the show, it's time to take a look at all the news coming in from the world of mobiles. And a very interesting phone got launched, which I think we should be having next week with us, the Poco X3 at 16,999 rupees. This phone literally has everything and then some. In fact, I think under 20,000 rupees, there is no other phone like this. But is it going to be a great phone? Well, you'll find that out next week. Today, we've just got you the news. It has been launched.
The new Poco X3 is finally live. Xiaomi has now launched the newest member in the Poco series, and it packs a massive punch. For the price of 16,999 rupees, it has a 120Hz display, a massive 6000 mAh battery with 33 watts fast charging, and even a 64 megapixel quad camera setup. The S series has always been special for Samsung, and now Samsung has unveiled yet another beast to their lineup with the S20 Fan Edition. It has a 120Hz display, a triple camera layout, and a big 4500 mAh battery. The phone also comes in some stunning new colors. The only thing left for us to know is how Samsung will price this device.
This is the Samsung Galaxy Fold 2. I'm just going to call it that. I mean, they call it the Z Fold 2 5G. That's too much Samsung for us to remember. But I'm going to talk to you about this phone because I love this phone. And we've got the Mystic Bronze. That's the best part. I was really hoping they don't send us the black one for review. And I've been using the Fold 1 for quite some time as a phone that, you know, we constantly do long-term reviews, so I've used this. I'm going to tell you 3 or 4 experiences that I found in the first few minutes. The number one, big one, is the outer screen itself. If you see the screen on this one, small and almost unusable. On this, it's nice and big in every which way. This is a screen I can actually use. Now remember, it's as big as any normal phone. It's a little narrower. But in the first few minutes itself, I was able to use it like a normal phone. So that's the big one. The second one, as you open it out, immediately the next thing you will see is that big notch, which I'll show you out here. The big notch that you have out here is completely and totally gone. It's got a small pinhole camera. That's pretty much all there really is, the small little thing, and the rest of it is this nice big tablet experience. So that is the second big change that has come. But I'll tell you the change that has made the most difference to me is the hinge. The hinge is absolutely solid. I mean, I can literally open it at any angle and start using it. So now this hinge on this one feels kind of flimsy. It didn't really have any play in it. So this hinge has a lot going for it. Those brushes and bristles to take the dust away and a whole lot more. That's all happening. Big other changes also from the processor to the cameras and everything else. Let's take a deep dive into this phone. This is the Samsung Galaxy Fold 2.
With the first Samsung Fold, we were flipping open a new future. Now with the second generation, we are flipping with it. The latest and greatest foldable from Samsung aims to improve in areas where the original Fold floundered. The addition of the larger display when folded is the big change we love, but even then, is the Z Fold 2 all hype, or is it worth the big sum of 1.5 lakhs? We find out in our first impressions. The Z Fold 2 now has a 6.2-inch cover screen when folded and a 7.6-inch screen when unfolded. Both are AMOLED screens with high pixel density. The increased real estate on the cover screen of the Fold 2 means that we can now actually use it instead of always unfolding and using the main screen as a tablet. The inner screen now has an adaptive 120Hz refresh rate, which makes the Fold 2 look quick and snappy. Another improvement in the Fold 2 screen is that the internal screen no longer has that corner cutout for the cameras. It now gets Samsung's Infinity O treatment, which we believe makes the display look way more chic and refined. Just like the first Fold, this one is also very chunky. It weighs in at a massive 282 grams and we felt its weight. Part of that weight is of course attributed to its 4500 mAh battery. While it is not the biggest battery in terms of size, the Fold 2 lasted us for the better part of the day. But if it isn't enough for you, Samsung does include a 25-watt fast charger in the box that can be used to top up the device. It also supports 11-watt wireless charging. The hinge is literally what makes or breaks a foldable phone, and this time around Samsung has made some big improvements to the hinge. The Fold 2 can now be propped up in any position and the hinge holds the screen up at that angle, meaning you can use it as a little laptop that fits into your back pocket. This is something that the original Fold lacked, and we found ourselves using the Fold 2 in this orientation a lot more. There are a total of 5 cameras on the Fold 2. It has a triple rear camera setup, 12MP main, 12MP telephoto and 12MP ultra-wide sensor. There are also 2 separate 10MP selfie cameras, one on the outer cover screen and another on the right side of the inner screen. The camera takes decent shots, but the optics are no headline maker for this phone. The camera does take advantage of the foldable display in flex mode, as it shows the viewfinder on the top half of the screen and the controls and previews on the bottom screen. Looking under the hood, the Fold 2 runs on the latest Snapdragon 865 Plus chipset and 12GB RAM. In our time with the Fold 2, we didn't notice any dip in performance. We tried multitasking on the internal screen of Fold 2 and it was a breezy affair. The phone handled everything we threw at it with ease and came out looking like a champ. The Fold 2 comes in 2 storage variants, 256GB and 512GB, with no slot for expandable storage. It runs on Android 10 out of the box with Samsung's One UI skin on top of it. The verdict? Foldable phones may still be very young in their life cycle, but Samsung seems to be making it their mission to knock this one out of the park. We enjoyed our short experience with it and can convincingly say, if you can afford it, buy it and be a part of the foldable family.
Now let's move to our special segment, the experiences you deserve, brought to you by Qualcomm. And today we're talking about something that has absolutely and totally changed our lives, and that is gaming. We were a nation that didn't game at all. The number of PCs and consoles in this country just a few years back could actually be counted. And now we are in millions and everyone's gaming. How did this change come about is our story for this week. Remember when everyone, just about everybody, played Snake on their Nokia phone? What a big deal it was. I'm smiling just thinking about it. How we competed to get high scores, how we marveled at those incredible graphics it has. Compare that to today and it looks like we've entered a different world altogether. You can now not only download the most sophisticated games from the app stores, but there are phones that are specifically now designed and built for an excellent gaming experience. In India, more than 90% of the gamers play on mobile, as the desktop and console gaming is very limited due to high prices and low penetration of such devices. Now, most mobile games are cheap to buy, in fact often free, and work perfectly well even now on a budget smartphone. According to Mobile Marketing Association, the revenue from mobile gaming in India will be worth $943 million by 2022. This is a growth of more than a whopping 200% over a period of 6 years, from $466 million in 2016. Not only this, the number of mobile gamers in the country is set to reach 368 million by 2022 from just 269 million in 2019. So yes, mobile gaming is having its time under the sun, and from the likes of Snakes and Solitaire we've advanced to heavy-duty games like Free Fire, Call of Duty, Fortnite and a whole lot more. And all this has been made possible by the most complex yet the most important and most common gadget in your hands, your mobile phone. With the quality of graphics and phones processing speeds improving every day, the quality gap between mobile gaming and PC or console gaming has largely now been erased. The pandemic has further accelerated gaming numbers in recent times. The lockdown situation forced people to stay indoors and find ways to keep themselves occupied, while high-energy action game let players compete with their friends and maintain squads. Games like Ludo, Tambola, Uno, Scrabble and others contributed towards increasing family time and bringing friends together. Now, while the mobile gaming industry is fast taking over the gaming ecosystem in India, there are typical pain points that users go through when they play games on their phones. For example, sluggishness and frequent hanging of the phone, inability to handle high-end graphics, overheating, quick battery drain, and a whole lot more. Now, in this episode, we'll find out what a great gaming experience means and how a processor is critical to providing a great gaming experience. We'll talk about how the Snapdragon processor has transformed your premium mobile device into a gaming machine. The ultra-realistic graphics, lightning speeds, blazing fast response, incredible audio, plus how does Snapdragon processors enable all this wizardry. We will also be joined by technology experts to tell us about how the processor has defined this fully immersive, elevated experience for the smoothest gameplay possible. So I'm joined by Francisco Cheng, Director Product Marketing, Qualcomm. Great to have you on the show, and I'm going to start off straight away with a diving in. How have you seen mobile gaming change over the years?
Thanks, Rajiv. Great question. We've been in the mobile gaming industry for a long time. We've seen casual games go to AAA and seen 100 million active users a month per game. We've seen visual complexity and visual quality go 1,000-fold in the last 20 years. There are more gamers on the mobile platform than any other platform combined.
So with all this growth in mobile gaming, what does it mean to Qualcomm?
Our core mobile technologies are in over 1 billion smartphones today, Rajiv. If you look at when we created our Snapdragon mobile platform, it also housed a GPU, our first mobile GPU, which stands for Graphics Processing Unit. This GPU is being taken advantage of by over 1 billion games today.
Can you explain to our viewers what constitutes a great gaming experience? We hear about this all the time. What should they look for while choosing a gaming phone?
The first thing that people should look for when they're buying a gaming smartphone is, of course, make sure that it has Snapdragon inside. Because with Snapdragon, you're guaranteed to get the smoothest gaming experience. And this is defined by the number of frames that the phone or the processor supports, which is up to 144 frames per second. This is world leading. We are the first to deliver this. The other thing that you should also come to expect from Snapdragon is that it delivers sustained performance, which means that you can game for long periods of time without losing any of that performance. A couple of other things that you should also be aware of is that Snapdragon delivers great visual quality. It delivers desktop level features. And of course, we have a world-class modem.
That's very interesting, but how do you achieve this?
We've been working with game publishers and phone manufacturers for well over 20 years. And how we achieve this is that we work closely with them to optimize our phones for things like the highest frame rates. The other thing that we also look to optimize in a game is to ensure that it has desktop level features, the highest HDR qualities. This involves careful planning with our partners to ensure that these games come to life with our Snapdragon mobile platform.
Now this, I think, is an important question because a lot of people actually take their buying decision based on whether a phone has a Snapdragon processor or not. Anything unique that Snapdragon enables for gaming?
Rajiv, there are a lot of unique features in Snapdragon gaming platforms. I'll talk about three of them. The first one is called 90 frames and 144 frames. So this allows games to hit that ultra smoothness that gamers want. The other thing that we've launched recently this year is something called GPU updatable drivers. This allows users to frequently update their graphics drivers, so they're getting the latest features and performance from their gaming smartphone. The last unique feature that I'll talk about is Game Color Plus. For those who don't have HDR in their gaming phones, you can get this feature to increase the visual fidelity as well as the sharpness of games on your smartphones.
Thank you, Francisco. Thank you so much for joining us and actually educating us about so many interesting things that we didn't know. Now let's move on and talk to the General Manager at Poco India, C. Manmohan. Thank you so much for joining us and many congratulations on the new edition, Poco X3. Tell us a little bit about this phone.
Thank you so much, Rajiv, for having me here. We are indeed extremely excited to be launching Poco X3. It's a successor to Poco X2, which is actually considered a very good gaming phone out there. In fact, Poco X3 is the first phone in the world to be powered by Qualcomm Snapdragon 732G. It actually comes with the Adreno 618 GPU, so extremely excited to be launching this device.
You know, I think the most important thing I want to know, because that's what we are basing our show on today, what role is played by the processor in enabling such an experience?
Yeah, to answer your question, yes, the processor forms the key and the most critical component of any smartphone. Poco X3 comes with the Snapdragon 732G chipset, where the CPU is clocked at 2.3 GHz. This, along with other features like the 6000 mAh battery and the liquid cool technology, makes gaming and high performance tasks very easy. Along with this, in fact, there are many other software features also that we have included in Poco X3, like the Game Turbo mode, which makes gaming extremely awesome.
So tell me, you chose the Snapdragon 732G processor for your phone. Why did you choose this particular processor?
This is pretty simple. If you look at the history of Poco F1, Poco X2 and Poco M2 Pro all were powered by Qualcomm chipsets. So it was very obvious for us also to take a look at Qualcomm and take the best out of it. And Qualcomm Snapdragon 732G chipset pretty much takes every important thing there. Let it be thermal efficiency, let it be the power, let it be the processing speed, let it be the GPU, everything, right? So it was obvious for us, and to be honest, we are extremely excited to be the first in the world to be launching this chipset.
How is this phone different from other gaming phones in this price segment? What other features do you have on your phone to make it a great gaming experience for the consumer?
To begin with, first of all, we have the latest 4G chipset from Qualcomm, which is Qualcomm Snapdragon 732G, which differentiates Poco X3 from the rest. That's number one. Apart from that, we have various other features like the liquid cool technology, the massive 6000 mAh battery, and lastly, the 120 Hz refresh rate, which makes the performance extremely smooth and efficient.
Thank you so much for joining us. Wonderful having you on the show, and I really hope you come back again because it's been very, very educative. We'll take a quick break right now on the Cell Guru Show. When we come back, lots more, including a brand new Motorola phone. And now let's move on to this, the Moto E7 Plus, another E7 series phone from Motorola. Very nice phone. It's good looking, has a good hand feel, well built like all Motorola phones are. Then it's got a good camera, good battery life, charges fast. The screen is a little not there for an under 10,000 rupee phone, because the new benchmark is that phones under 10,000 rupees should also have a full HD screen. But other than that, it's a great phone. Here's our Cell Guru review.
Last year's Moto E6 Plus was one of the best smartphone experiences to be had under 10,000 rupees. And now Motorola is back with its successor. Yes, we're talking about the Moto E7 Plus. The phone brings updated specs, a bigger battery and improvements all around. Could this be a competitor to alternatives by Xiaomi and Realme? Let's find out. Let's talk design first. Compared to some of the competitors, Moto has opted for a much more subdued look. You get essentials like a large 6.5-inch HD display that's bright and shows excellent colors. While we would have liked a full HD panel, media content looks great here. Up above is a notch under which an 8-megapixel front-facing camera sits. Bezels on the sides are thin, but there is a fairly large chin at the bottom. Over on the back, the construction is entirely of plastic. The textured pattern might not look premium, but it prevents fingerprints and scuffs. Additionally, the plastic construction means that the phone should be able to handle drops much better than glass. The button layout on the phone is pretty standard with a power button and volume rocker on the right. Additionally, the phone has a dedicated Google Assistant button as well, which makes it easy to invoke the smart assistant. What's not so nice is the fact that the Moto E7 Plus still uses a micro USB port. Additionally, there's no fast charging support. The included 10 watts charger takes hours to top off the 5000 mAh battery. Good thing then that the battery can easily last 2 to 3 days on a single charge even with heavy use. Powering the Moto E7 is a Qualcomm Snapdragon 460 processor paired with 4GB of RAM and 64GB of storage. Qualcomm's entry-level octa-core chipset brings big improvements on the graphics side of things. Paired with Moto's near-stock build of Android, the user experience is smooth. In fact, games too run very smoothly, though you will have to turn down some of the graphic options. Finally, talking about the cameras, the Moto E7 Plus has a single 48-megapixel primary camera paired with a 2-megapixel depth sensor. The company has done a decent job of tuning the camera and images look richly detailed and vibrant. Low light mode isn't too bad, but you will have to hold very still to get quality images. All in all, priced at 9,499 rupees, the Moto E7 Plus is a good package for someone who wants a reliable performer with a big battery, clean software on board. If you are the kind to crave more hardware for your money, phones like the Redmi 9 might offer more value, but the Moto E7 Plus delivers on its promise of being an excellent day-to-day performer.
That then is the Cell Guru show for this week. Lots coming up next week, including the Poco X3. Remember, I said it right in the beginning when we were introducing the news. At 16,999, it seems to be an absolutely amazing phone, no competition. But what about those ads and more ads? Is that going to ruin the experience? Well, we'll find out when we have the phone with us next week. See you soon.